Good morning, dear students. Welcome to online classes. I am Dr.M.Vasumathi Devi, working as an associate professor in the department of CSE in Vignans Nirula Engineering College, Palkaluru. Today, I want to focus on some of the introductory concepts in the translators. First, what are the translators? Compilers, interpreter, assembler, and applications of compiler technology. Now, I want to focus on these issues in this demonstration. Before going to the concept, I'll give you a puzzle. I'll give you one picture. Please, all of you, carefully observe that picture and tell me what is your observation. What is that picture? One baby trying to communicate that baby's feelings, emotions with his mother. So this is what that picture demonstrates you, right? Means the mother has to translate the emotional expressions into the human communication language. Means what? We are all the human beings. We are having inbuilt, we are having such a translator, good translators we are having. We can translate the figurative information into our own statements. So meanwhile, so many of you have think about that picture in 1 second, I think, right? If you observe the picture, you can have one analysis. There, both are human beings. Have you observed? Right. Once again, I will give you another picture. Just go through with that picture. Now, dear students, what is your observation right now? Yes, here the human language and animals language. Here, a translator should be both two different heterogeneous languages. We need to design translators, right? Just like that, in programming languages also, we have to have translators and translators in between different heterogeneous languages, and if is there any purpose needs to translate in homogeneous category also, right? We are having many more such programming languages. Basic programming languages all are comes to under the different categories. The main three different categories are structured oriented languages, object based languages, object oriented languages. Three different kinds of languages are there. For all these programming languages, we need to give the support of compilers, the translators. Okay, translator translates one kind of language into the another kind. This is what the main requirement of a translator is. So what is the main from which language we need to translate to which language? What is the source language and what is the destination language in programming paradigm? First of all, we are the human beings. We will write each and every program in our understandable language. That is called as the high level language. If you observe such keywords in high level language, or you can observe that figure there, high level language keywords have been mentioned. Those are if, when, why, for, like. We will use common natural English words which we can understand. So by that, with the support of that, we can write a program. That is what? This is called as high level language representation. This high level language representation needs to be translated into assembly level language. What is the assembly level language? Assembly level language means that is not totally mission understandable. That is not totally human understandable. That is, it contains certain codes. It gives certain hints to each and every operation in the program. For addition operation, it gives SUM as a keyword. These are all you can call it as mnemonics. Assembly level language uses certain predefined codes. For example, you can observe the figure. In that figure, you can observe SUM as one keyword, which is nothing but the mnemonic for addition operation, summation operation. Move, MV, you can observe that code, right? So these are not directly human understandable languages, right? So this is a middle in between to the human and to the machine, right? So this is a certain kind of assembly level language. And the next one is, yes, what is the next one? Right, low level representation. Low level or mission level representation, which consists of binary ones and zeros, right? You can observe there, in the figure you can observe binary ones and zeros. Each and every operation consists of its own operation codes in terms of binary representation, right? Now, I think you have understand the entire concept of all the programming languages, the background of all these programming languages, right? So, we need to design certain translators. The translators concept is to translate one form of a language into the another form, right? So, this is the main purpose of a translator is. Dear students, let us go through all the translators. First one is compiler. Compiler is a program translates source code into the target code. Yes, you can observe the pictorial representation of the compiler definition is a program. Program consists of many more instructions. Compiler takes all the instructions at once, compiles and produces the results. This is what the compiler is. Let us go through the examples of compiler. What are the examples of compiler? What is the main example of a compiler? Yes, right. C compiler, basic compiler, algol compiler and C compiler. All these are the examples of compiler. And many more compilers have been there. You can just please observe that slide. Let us go with the second translator, that is interpreter. Interpreter is a program which translates program instruction one by one. In addition to the input, it takes the input at a time, it takes the input and translates, converts into the output. Okay, this is nothing but the interpreter. Dear students, you can observe the slide. So there, here, each and every bag represents what? Yes, the instruction. Here the interpreter takes one instruction at a time, processes it and converts into the low level language. Thereby it is giving the output, right? This is what the main difference between the compiler and the interpreter. Interpreter takes each instruction by instruction. First it considers the first instruction, processes it, and then it considers the second instruction, translates it, and then it considers the third instruction and gives the output. So line by line execution is going to be happen in interpreter. This is the main difference between the compiler and interpreter, right? Yes, the examples of interpreter. What are the examples of interpreter? Yes, Java uses both compiler and interpreter, right? And the different other languages are Python. You can observe Python is an interpreter and Ruby is an interpreter. Many more examples have been there as interpreters, right? The last one is assembler. Assembler is a translator which translates assembly level language into the low level language. What is an assembly level language? Yes, it contains certain predefined codes. Those are called as the mnemonics. Okay, right? So it contains defined codes such as example I have already explained you sum, move, load, store, like. It translates these codes into the binary ones and zeros representation. This is called as a assembler. Back represents one program instruction. So all the instructions at a time are transferred into the low level representation in assembler. So for all the assembly level languages, assembler is just like a compiler, right? Above all these are the cousins of compilers. The cousins of compilers are assembler, interpreter. All these are the translators. Right. So this is what basically the compiler technology is. You can observe the applications of compiler technology. Applications of compiler technology means, right. So for many more applications, real-time applications, you are doing programs, you are developing in terms of programming instructions, and you are running in such a platform, right. So that is called there. How can you run a C program? Yes, this is what that representation. There the compiler technology is going to be used. The dot extension represents which programming language that file is. The source code related to the C programming language, then the .c is the extension. If the source code is Java, .java is the extension for that file. And if the source code is .cpp, C++ program, then .cpp is the extension for C++ programming files, right? So these high level languages are going to be converted into the object codes, which are nothing but the targets code. There you can apply the compiler technology, right? Dear friends, dear students, you can understand this entire translator, the compiler technology with such good examples and in this figurative representation, pictorial representation a lot. I hope so. Thanks for your patience listening. Thanks a lot.